Hey guys, how's it going? It's Brian from Puente Hyundai. In today's video, we're taking a look at the 2022 Tucson, and we're specifically going to be looking at the steering wheel functions and what to do and how to use them. Alright guys, now let's take a look at this steering wheel so that way we can go over all of the features that come with having these buttons here. Now, the first one on the left-hand side is going to be the voice recognition button. Now, what this does is if I were to press on this button, the vehicle itself will kind of act as a Hey Siri or Hey Google type system, in which it'll recognize your voice, and if you give it commands, it'll do those things, just like, for example, calling mom or giving me directions to a specific place. So just keep in mind, if you do tap on this button, you'll actually see it and hear it in the car. Now, going down one, you're gonna have the ability to use this icon here, or this button, to either go up or down on the volume of the vehicle and of the sound system. Now, let's just say, for example, you had it up high and you got a phone call, or you had somebody in the car trying to tell you something, you can't hear them. You can actually push this button down and it'll actually mute every single system inside the car. Now, going one more down, you're gonna see that you have the phone button. So if you do have your phone connected to the Bluetooth or to the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, you have the ability to, by touching this button, answering or picking up your phone calls, and as well as hanging up those phone calls once you're done with them. So that is what this new button is for. Now, going up here to mode, so the mode button is actually going to be one that's very interesting. It'll give you the opportunity to have a selected media. That way, when you press on this mode, you can change between certain things. Now, some of the options that it actually lets you know on the screen is going to be Bluetooth audio, phone projection, sounds of nature, USB, or regular FM and AM radio. You do have the option to choose between those things, and whatever you have selected, you can, by pressing mode, it'll transfer between those selective of options. Now, using this here, you can also go down of the Sirius XM, AM, and regular FM radio, which is the button right in the middle. Now, going down one more, by pressing the star button, it's gonna have certain things that you have already pre-selected by pressing that button. So you have things like quiet mode, which will activate the front speakers and turn off the rear speakers in the car, which will allow for you to have a kind of a softer sound, especially if you have kids and you want to make sure that they don't wake up. So you can also cancel your routes. You can also reroute and do voice memos that by just touching this star button, which is going to be on the custom button steering wheel. Now, moving on to the right side. So the right side, the first icon we're going to be looking at is one that looks like a bunch of papers stacked up with each other. Now, this button here is actually going to be the one that's going to control the middle cluster. It'll show you information like drive info. It'll show you, since refueling, what your trip looks like, your average MPG. It'll also be the one that can control what you can see in that middle cluster, as well as compass or tire pressure and things like that. Now, going down, you actually have this here, which is what I was pressing. It'll just help you navigate between those items, and you can also hold this down to go into the settings menu on your actual screen. So depending on what mode you're in, you can always hold that down, and you can go through some of the features inside the settings of the vehicle. Going down one more. Now, this one is going to be used while we're using our cruise control, and I'll go over that a little bit more in detail in just a second. Now, going on to the right side, cruise control, that's going to be the big one. This top button in cruise control is going to be the main assistant in using the rest of the three buttons that we're going to go over right now. The main button, which is cruise control, right now the conditions are not met in the car because of the fact that we aren't driving the vehicle at the moment. If we were to be driving the car, let's just say we're going about 40 miles an hour, we press this button up here, and on the screen you'll get an illumination letting you know how fast you're going, the set of the speed, the distance between the cars in front of you, and the smart cruise control with the stop and go. So normally what we would do is, let's say we'd press the button to start cruise control. Using this up and down button, you can, if you press down, it'll lock however fast you're going at the moment, and by going up while it's already set, you can increase the speed without having to put your foot on the gas, just like any normal cruise control. But the two new buttons are going to be these ones down here. The one on the right side, you'll actually see a vehicle with some kind of laser or sensors in front of it. Now what that does is it'll actually use sensors in the front of the vehicle to keep a certain distance between the car in front of you and your specific car while in cruise control. Meaning if you like to maybe tailgate a little bit more and be a little closer to vehicles, you can set it to where it's a little closer, or you can set it to where it's farther in distance from the vehicles in front of you. Once we move on to the left one, which is the big one, this is the one that activates the active smart cruise control. So while you're in cruise control, you would tap on this button. When you tap on this button, you'll notice that a steering wheel icon will come up on the screen. When that steering wheel icon illuminates green, that means that the vehicle is now in smart cruise control. At that point, the vehicle will actually help both in keeping your steering wheel in place while you're driving on the highway, as well as using the other system settings like the active assist and the system sync. That way you're basically driving without having to hold the steering wheel. Now again, remember, Hyundai does recommend always having your hands on the steering wheel, even though these features are available. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching today's video. If you have any other questions or concerns about the things we went over in this video, or anything that you want to see in future videos, please leave them in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching.